Guys, I hope you're having a great day today. Pastor Kurt here. I'm glad to get to share the Bible story with you this morning. It's from 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, which is kind of a silly word, Thessalonians. But the Thessalonians were a group of people who lived in a city called Thessalonica, which is over across the Atlantic Ocean from us. And they lived in this place called Thessalonica. And so Paul wrote them a letter. He actually wrote them several letters. And we have 1st and 2nd Thessalonians. And it's a really cool story. Have you ever wanted to fast forward your life? Have you ever wanted to know what would happen in the future? I think we all have. We want to know if we make a good grade on a test, or we want to, know how the baseball season is going to turn out, or if our football team is going to win, or if we're going to get the part that we want in a play, or you fill in the blank for you. But we've all wanted to know what the future holds for us. And Paul is writing to the Thessalonians with some good news about the future. See, when Paul first went to Thessalonica, there weren't a lot of Christians there. In fact, there were a lot of people who worshiped the Roman emperor. They would offer incense to him. They would give offerings to him. And so there were not a lot of people who worshiped God. They worshiped the Roman emperor. But then Paul went to Thessalonica, and lots of people came to know Jesus through him telling them the gospel. And so there was this small church of Christians there in Thessalonica. And when word got around that Paul was helping people come to know Jesus, the Romans really didn't like that. And so they started, we call the word is persecution. They started persecuting Paul. They were being really mean to him. They were threatening his life. It was really scary for Paul. And so it got so bad that he ended up having to leave the city of Thessalonica. But he was a good friend, and like all of us who have good friends, he cared about the Thessalonians. He cared about how they were doing. They hadn't been Christians for very long, and he was concerned for them. He wanted to make sure they were doing okay. And so Paul sent Timothy to see how they were doing. And Timothy came back, and he told Paul, he said, they're doing good. They're being persecuted, but they're holding on to their faith. They're continuing to believe in Jesus. That was really good news. But they had some misunderstandings about what the Bible says will happen in the future. And so they were really discouraged. They believed that if you died before Jesus came back, that you didn't get to go to heaven. They believed that that was kind of like missing the boat, that you had to stay alive until Jesus came back in order to go to heaven. And that's wrong. That's not what the Bible teaches. That's not what Jesus taught. And so Paul wanted them to know the good news that Jesus is going to come back for all his people. And one day, Christians will no longer be persecuted. And Jesus will return and meet us. If we have died, we will come back to life. If we are living, we will be with him. And he will take us home to be with him forever. And that's really good news, because that's how the story of history ends. That's what's going to happen. And Paul wanted to comfort them with that. And I want to comfort you with that. That one day, everything sad will no longer happen. Everything sad will come untrue, we sometimes say. That Jesus will return. And all of his people, whether dead or alive, if you die before Jesus comes back, you will come back to life and be with him forever. And if you're living when Jesus comes back, you will live and be with him forever. And Paul wanted the Thessalonians to know, even though life is really hard right now, even though you're being persecuted, you can have hope, because this is how the story ends. Jesus wins, and he brings all his people home safely to live with him. So I don't know what's going on in your life, but if you're having a really difficult time right now, hopefully you're not. It's fixing to be the summer, school's getting out, but maybe you're having a really difficult time. I want you to know this, that Jesus one day will make everything right. And in the meantime, he is with you, and he loves you, and he cares for you. And that's what Paul wanted his friends, the Thessalonians, to know. And it's what I want you to know as well. I hope you have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.